Lemire's done a whole bunch of stuff, but Sorrentino best known for that amazing art done in blah blah blah.
On this week's show, we talk about Gideon Falls, the new Justice League trailer, some X-Men titles coming out in comics, the Battlefront 2 demo, the Last Jedi trailer. Go crazy on the Last Jedi trailer. Just popped tonight. We're pumped up. Sorry. We go full spoilers at the end of the show for Blade Runner 2049. So buckle in, get ready. Here we go. Episode
What's up?
73.
Yo.
Spoiler Space Mania. Want to start out this week? Just give everybody a heads up that we got some contests going on in the month of October. We're giving away $20 PlayStation Store credit. We're also giving away free tickets to a pre-showing of Thor 3 in Denver. So if you're around, if you're interested in either of those, all the details for sure are in the comments. If you're listening to the audio version of this, go to our website, gamescomicsandculture.wordpress.com. All the details are right there on how to get in. Super easy to do. And I guarantee, I keep saying this over and over again, I guarantee if you joined this contest, this is the best odds you have ever had in your life.
You will win.
So, everybody, how we doing?
Good. Live.
Yeah, I think, I forget whose turn it is to go first for the week thing. Is it Corey?
I went first last time.
Okay, then it's Corey. No, then it's me. We were alphabetical. I'm sorry, me.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll shoot. So yeah, had a good week this week. To be honest, I've been so damn busy trying to still get my fucking house together that didn't get a chance to do a whole bunch. We watched Blade Runner. We're gonna go full spoilers on Blade Runner. End of the show. Played Ghost Recon Wildlands again. Had another fun time playing that. That game's really, really great. Can't talk enough about Wildlands. We talked too much. Since the last show, played Fortnite too. That game is not too great.
That sucks.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Fortnite to anybody. Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta. We're going to talk about that later in the show as well. So a couple other things here is I watched Defenders episodes 3 and 4. And I got to say, episode 3 was awesome. Like episode 3, I got to the end of that and I'm like... I looked right over the wife and said, hey, let's watch the next one. She was like, yeah, let's do it, because we both liked it. It was good. So finally back into the realm of good with the Defenders. Episode 4 slipped back into boring. So we'll see. But I'm halfway through, so I'm gonna see it through 4 more episodes. What the hell, you know?
Yeah.
The other big one for me, this bad boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For you
Got on my
audio,
shelf.
Listeners, The Last Wish, the first Witcher book. Really, really awesome. So I got back into it. We're kind of Witcher super fans here. We're going to have a full spoilers Witcher conversation.
We're going to play when I get off, actually.
Yeah, the what this book does, like, so the opening kind of, it's a series of short stories, and the opening ones are just that. They're kind of short stories about the Witcher having Witcher adventures, Geralt going around fighting, Witchers are monster hunters for hire, and it's stories of him doing that. And but then, man, I got to this part where 2 different things happened that directly tied in to The Witcher 3.
Oh, wow.
And totally put so much background to the lore of what's going on that instantly it made the story like 10 levels deeper than it was just from that game. I don't really want to talk about the specifics because they are kind of spoilery, but just really, really awesome. Really blew me away when I got through some of this stuff. So I'm hooked in. I'm locked and loaded on The Witcher. I'm gonna finish this book as fast as I can, which means hopefully by the 2018 I'll be done with it. The other, so that was basically it. The other stuff we're going to talk about later on. So I'll pass the mic. Corey,
all right.
You're up.
Sweet. I had did a lot of reading this week. I basically played all the fucking games that I wanted to play. I'm like out of games to play. I've been playing a few games here and there. Played some Akiba's Trip. Played a little bit of that Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah.
Just played like the opening part basically. But it seems all right so far. I haven't really seen any action yet, but played some more, a little bit more, but Destiny 2, did the weekly milestones. Haven't beat the Nightfall. Might try that tonight, or I guess tonight would be the last night. Gotta try it tonight. Played some more Everybody's Golf. Got second place this week since Dirk took a shit on it. So. Played some more Wildlands with Nate. That continues to be awesome. Fortnite sucked. Played Battlefront 2 beta, and talking about that later. But yeah, like I said, a lot of reading. Been trying to cut out Marvel and get to more Image books.
Aren't we all?
My belt, so I've been reading a bunch of books this week. First off, I read Saga 1 through 47. So
that's awesome.
So I completely caught up on Saga. Man, that book is so fucking awesome. I forgot how great it is. I mean, the characters in that book, everything about that book is just so good. And just seeing them develop over the shit, the book's been out for 5 years now, so just the way that characters have changed and I mean the places they go, everything is just so awesome about that book. I love it so much.
Yeah, and I hate to interrupt, but I love reading that because it's a Vaughn book. You know that there's a good ending in store.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Also, it's not just going to go forever.
It's the goddamn best.
Yeah. So good. Caught up on Saga finally, so now I'm month to month on that. I guess speaking of Vaughn, started also reading Paper Girls. I got through issue number 5.
Yep.
That's awesome. Really fucking good too. Really liking it. I love everything he does. I didn't even really realize that he wrote Y, so I gotta read that next. I mean, you said you loved it so much, and I love everything else he does, so I gotta get caught up on that. Well, I gotta finish it. It's over now.
Yeah.
But gotta do that. So, also read Rocket Girl 1 and 2. It's an Image book. It's pretty good. It's about like time traveling teenage space cop girl.
Okay.
But it's like the present in that is it's 2016, but it's the future. Like, it's hard to explain it, but it's good. I think I might keep reading that. Read The Walking Dead 172. That was really good. Keeps on moving. Kind of a filler book, I felt. Did you read it yet?
No, I don't.
No, it's good. Read Plastic #1. Supposedly it's about this serial killer that has a sex doll that he treats like his girlfriend. Real weird. But pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, it's messed up. Redlands #1. It's like a horror book about witches, and the art in it's real crazy. I wasn't too into it. I don't know if it just wasn't my thing. Like the writing, like the art's real sketchy, and they call the witches bitches the whole time. I don't know. It's got really good reviews, but I just wasn't a huge fan. And then I read The Wicked plus The Divine. I keep hearing about that.
You read that?
I read the first 2 issues. They seemed all right so far. I don't know. I might keep reading it. It didn't catch me right away. I mean, out of all those, obviously Saga's the best. Paper Girls was my second favorite. and then Rocket Girl is probably the other one that I'd for sure keep reading. Yep. And then also read The Witcher: Last Wish. Got about 3 chapters in on that. I'm really digging it. It's just awesome because you can, I played as Geralt for so long. You can just picture it so well in your head when you're reading it. Everything he's doing, it's so great.
And the tone's right on,
also,
right?
Oh yeah, right on. I feel
it's
like
crazy.
You're back in the game, but it makes me want to play the game again now. There's PS4 Pro support, but it's. I don't know. That'd be like my 3rd or 4th playthrough. But really good. I definitely want to start reading that. I haven't finished that Star Wars book yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna try and go back and forth between them or what. And then other than that, I watched The Gifted first episode. You guys watch that?
No.
I have not. I forgot to tape it. Is it good?
Tape it.
I thought it was all right.
You
I call DVRing taping.
You tape it?
It was all right. The reactions on the internet were like really good. Saying it's like awesome. I mean, it definitely wasn't on the level with Legion or, I mean, it was good. I guess I liked it. I don't know. It was decent. I didn't think it was that great, to be honest. I'll probably watch them.
Just let them-
It was better than the Inhumans.
You're like, woo.
Well, that's not a high bar to beat.
I think it's as good as the Netflix shows, not as good as Jessica Jones, but as good as the other ones,
All
I would
right.
say.
Gotcha.
But, yeah,
Cool.
And that's it. That's my week.
All right. Dirk?
Sweet. My week, it's a very eventful week in a lot of ways that are not relevant to the show. But in terms of just stuff I checked out, I started Dishonored 2, which is pretty cool. I haven't played that much into it, but
Dishonored
if you like
2,
stealth,
I'm sorry, that is a native PS4 game, yes? That's like
Yeah.
the new one for this
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
The original one was last generation.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't, like I said, I probably played an hour total. But it's, I mean, if you're into stealth games, it's pretty sweet. I think they just capitalized on the formula from the first one and kind of run with it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta. Haven't played that much. I played a little bit of Destiny, but at this point, I mean, I can't progress to save my life. So I don't know if I'm just bad at progressing or if the game is meant to be that much of a grind.
All you have to do are those milestones. It's all I'm telling you.
Really?
And that's the only thing you have to do, and that's the only way you're gonna progress. If you do anything else, you're not progressing.
I think I'm trying to do that, but I'm also. It's like I need to break it up. I could just play Destiny by itself, but I get too restless, so I got to mix it up and.
I mean, you have to complete the milestones. Like doing half, you're not going to get anything from doing half of one. So
yeah,
it's
played a ton of everybody's golf. Pretty much a daily thing now, just like the Hot Shots ones in the past. I think we're up to 20 gyms. Working on that 50 to chop it down, and did a lot of reading.
Do you find everybody's golf still fun? Like, I know we talked about the lack of courses and all that stuff. Like, I know you put a ton of time into the old one. Is this holding up for you?
It is now, yes. I think it's because, it has a large part to do with my wife being interested in it. You know, I don't think if she had the interest, she didn't have the interest, I don't know if I would play half as much. But it's something we can share and just have fun on,
Sure.
So,
I've gotten into a lot of games that aren't the greatest games on earth just because I've had a good crew to play with.
Right, exactly. In terms of reading, I still continuing on All New Guardians of the Galaxy, which is fantastic. Rocket, the new Jessica Jones. Have y'all read that?
I did.
The last
I
one?
haven't.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's great.
I should have picked that. I don't know why I didn't pick that. That's so dumb for my book. I just finished Monstrous Volume 1, which was also fantastic. I'd started reading it and I kind of dropped it, but just picked it up again and got Volume 2. If anybody hasn't checked that out, I would highly recommend that. Also started reading have you read it, Corey?
I wanted to read it. I started reading the first issue. I saw it's not ongoing, and I'm trying to get more ongoing series. Like, it's complete already, so I didn't want to go back and read the old series.
It's so different than anything else out. Like, it's such an alien book. I don't know what to compare it to. It's sort of got manga style art and fantasy lore, but like done sort of steampunkish stuff. It's fantastic.
Just wrapping it all in.
Yeah. No, it's got a ton, man. Sheriff of Babylon.
Steampunk. Sorry, that blew me away a little bit.
Steampunk manga, yeah. I started reading Sheriff of Babylon also, which is great. Tom King and Mitch Gerads. It's about the Second Iraq War. It's pretty awesome. I read Legacy, which
I'm sorry. Can I get a little bit more detail? Second Iraq War, is it fantasy? Is it purely like a documentary?
No,
What's up?
It's sort of a documentary sort of feel to it. I think Tom King was actually CIA operative in around that time, so he was super familiar with the landscape and the ops going on there. So he gets really into it.
Cool.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's one, like, if you look at the back of the book, it's got a ton of kudos and just critics going crazy for it. I don't know what year it's from. I want to say it's from a couple of years ago, like maybe 2015. But and pretty much it. And Legacy, and watched Black Mirror and Knights of Sidonia.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff.
That's my week.
Sweet. Yeah. So pretty much my entire week was spent in Vegas at Eve Vegas 2017.
Eve Vegas!
And it was fucking awesome.
Pull it back for just a little bit. Pretend like nobody knows what Eve is. Explain it just a moment. You can go a little long if you need to. No problem.
Well, Eve is a game of internet spaceships with spreadsheets for a bunch of nerds that want to just do anything you want to. They promote espionage. You can go and be industrial and mine all day, which is really mind-numbing. You can become a businessman where you can sit there and change the course of a market, fluctuate it, and cut short the market and or corner the market on stuff. You can really control the environment. There's different sections of it. There's a high security section of space where the police NPCs come around, and if you try to shoot another player, they kill you. It's insta pop. You get locked and you're dead. You can't cloak if they locked you. It's pretty bad. And then lower sec has less. It's more outlaw space, and then there's null sec where there's no law, and the players you police your own.
Can I ask, so my brother-in-law's played Eve for longer than I've known any of you guys except for Corey, and he's been talking about it forever. Is it only spaceship? Like, do you control an individual person ever in it?
No, there's no walking in stations.
Right.
We've been wanting that for 15 years.
Sure.
Because the game's going to be about 15 years here next year.
Right.
There's no walk-in in station. There's flying around, or you sit in station and you can spin your ship.
Okay.
That's what you do. But I mean, there's so much.
You're a spaceship as far as your direct control throughout the game.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Well, you start out in what's called a pod. It's this little guy right here. Right. Visual aids. Right, and this is your clone inside of it, and then you train up over time different skill books to fly different types of ships: frigates, cruisers, battleships, dreadnoughts, carriers. And and that training just takes time. And the training, you queue up the training, and it's real-time training, so it doesn't stop when you log out.
Right.
Another thing is you can stay logged in 23 and a half hours a day if you want to. There's a half-hour downtime when they reboot all the servers, and then it's back up.
Funny.
It usually has about 40,000 people playing at any given time, something like that, so it's concurrent. Largest space battle we've had was 8,000 people on one node of the server.
Wow.
Nice.
When I played it, that's what I found. It was sort of a stop and go. Like I could leave and come back. You know. Yeah.
So what was E Vegas like then?
Oh, Eve Vegas was. Oh my gosh, it was insane. So the developers from CCP, which is stationed out of Reykjavik, Iceland, they come out to Vegas, and there was 1,000 players there, and you get to sit there and sit down at the bar, sit at dinner, have one-on-ones with the actual developers of the game, give your input, talk to them about ideas. They showcase some of the new changes of the expansion that drops in 2 weeks.
Okay.
From when we publish this. So October 24th, the next expansion, which is Lifeblood. Changes in that as moon mining has been redone, and it visually looks really good. I don't know how it's actually going to play out. But every 6 months they do an expansion. It's a free expansion for subscribing players. It's free to play. You can train your clone up to about 5 million skill points. They are actually going to expand that gap so that you can play for free. You have to buy game time to train your clone up to 20 million skill points. But once you unlock those skills, they don't get negated if you stop subscribing.
What's the subscription cost?
Subscription is $14.95 a month.
All right.
There's people that have 16 accounts that they run 16 accounts at one time, and they'll mine just all their players. But fuck, man, you gotta keep asking me questions because I could just ramble on about it. It's
So as far as E Vegas, like what kind of events are there other than just random things that are probably the coolest?
They do like a standard like keynotes opening, and the CEO came up and talked to us. He was there, and they're showcasing Eve Valkyrie, which Eve Valkyrie, and that's their VR game. And then they were showcasing a new game called Spark. I didn't get a chance to play it because the line was long, and then they had barf bags because people were throwing up playing it.
Wow.
and it was on the PS4. Yeah, they had the PS4 VR going. That's where they're really pushing is PS4 because Xbox doesn't have a VR and they're not going Oculus. They had presentations like upcoming expansions, and then they had players come in and give presentations, hour-long presentations about different aspects of the game, physics of how to fly in space. One guy works for NASA and he plays, and so he was talking about the physics of space travel and how to fit your ship, all the doctrines you use. It was a mixture of the developers talking, and then they're having players come in and talk about their experiences in Eve. And all the alliances, the major alliances came in. They were all there. Everyone was decked out in colors of their alliance, their emblem. And people have flags. They have huge flags with their alliance logo on it. People are handing out swag. I had patches for my alliance, and it was a bunch of nerds coming together in their environment, and you just talk to everybody, even if you're sort of enemies in the game. You meet them face to face, and the players, you sit there and start building bonds and communities, and it's. I've never seen it in any other gaming convention like that.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
Nice.
Can I play Eve on an old ass computer?
You can probably run it if you run it potato mode.
Yeah,
potato mode. So potato mode is where you turn your graphics settings all the way down to low, and it doesn't look really good.
Sure.
And so the joke is
yeah,
you can run it on a potato.
Right.
You could use a potato to power it.
Nice.
When we go on big fleet ops, we'll drop they'll just say go into potato mode. And
I got one question. Do you have like an arch enemy? Like, is that something you cultivate over time, or?
Oh yeah, there's right now Test Alliance and CO2. Actually, CO2 just got disbanded because the diplomat, the judge, went through and had keys to the kingdom for the Alliance and took a lot of assets, sold them off to goons, and
A lot of assets. Oh.
A lot of assets. ISK is the currency, so he cleaned out the corp wallet, moved around, and took major stations called a Keep Star, sold that to the goons, then the goons sold it, and then someone else sold it, and pretty much it broke up. That whole alliance is now just broke up.
I didn't understand anything you just said.
No, dude, I think that's awesome. That's such an attractive
cool.
quality for a game.
Right.
To have like an established group that you hate on back and forth. Like,
And you do. And the meta game that happens at like Eve Vegas and they do regional meetups of Eve players will get together. There's a ton here in the Twin Cities. I mean, all over. It was fun. We actually, we would talk to players, and we were actively recruiting, and trying to gather intel on other people. And
Nice.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
wow.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
On the news of the week, starting off second week doing our top 5 news items of the week. Starting off number 5. Talking, I guess, Dirk put this in here, a new Image horror title, Gideon Falls, by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino in 2018.
Yep.
Do you have any details on it, or?
There's not a whole bunch. I think it's a horror, supernatural / horror title. They're the same. I mean, I guess they're the same people that did Green Arrow, but separately, Lemire and Sorrentino are known for, I guess, bigger projects. Lemire's done a whole bunch of stuff, but Sorrentino best known for that amazing art done in blah blah blah.
You'll find it in the comments.
The last Marvel event before
Secret Empire?
Legacy, Secret Empire. Yeah. So
He did
the great
first 4
art.
episodes and stuff, or the first 4 issues.
Yeah,
Nice.
he was the great art
Right.
from that
The
series.
good stuff.
Yeah. So imagine him on an Image book where he doesn't have to rein in his,
Yeah.
it's
that art
gonna be
was
fantastic. And him on a horror series is just like a match made in heaven. It's
Like,
fantastic.
Sure.
As far as the news, they just promoted it this week. They just announced it.
Yeah, they just announced it on October 3rd, I think. They dropped the knowledge that they had been teasing it, but yeah, so that it's going to be March 2018. So, Gideon Falls. I'm sure we'll hear more about it as it gets closer, but I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Another good book by Image. So,
Yep.
but, all right. Yep. Yeah. On to number 4. The new Justice League Heroes trailer. So,
What'd you think,
guys
Corey?
think?
Kick it off.
I thought I don't know. I thought it looked kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. It's it's action packed.
I mean, I'll be honest. My eyes just glazed over. It just is like every other one that they've ever put out. Like the trailers, like to show a bunch of action and then show Aquaman flying and stabbing stuff, and then put a joke at the end.
Could it
Aquaman
be?
swims.
Nothing
could it
significant happened. It just seemed like an action-packed sequence of the characters.
It was a trailer to show you all the action sequences in the movie, and then they don't show you the 2.5 hours of just sheer boredom that you're gonna see and shitty dialogue.
Could it be that weird, like, sort of dark, silvery CGI that they have going on that colors just about every DC movie. Is it that?
Is
Maybe?
that why it's
yeah.
monotonous,
Yeah.
you think? I mean, possible.
Second I see it, man, I'm like Nate. I just glaze over.
It's like they couldn't film in the daylight.
right.
Yeah.
I feel like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot are all just really vanilla, monotonous actors. Like, to be honest, when I see Aquaman, and
he's the best
Flash, the two of them, like it seems like they've got a little bit of charisma to them. You know,
Yeah.
Aquaman, it seems like he's pumped in every scene, and the Flash is like. Seems like he's whatever, just grateful to be a part of the crew, so to speak. But
Yeah.
Right.
the
Not a
other three
big
of them
fan
are
of
just boring at this point.
Brief glimpse of the cyborg too in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You caught Aquaman in the air or something there. But
Yeah, and
I think Aquaman's like too fired up. Just like comic
fired
relief
up?
or something.
Khal Drogo and up.
But,
the one thing too is they kind of hint at Batman has this scene like, no, this is something darker. So pointing towards, I would assume,
Of course.
Darkseid, right, being the villain here.
I'm a shit.
yeah, probably.
Assume so.
But- yeah, I was hoping for like a lighter tone or something with so that's what they're trying to come back from or whatever. And wasn't great.
Well, I think they're trying to get some big backing because I saw that they're trying to do a cross Justice League commercial with Mercedes during the football game.
Oh,
Yeah.
it fits that color tone. A palette they're drawing from.
Gray
Maybe
silver.
they'll get yeah, exactly. Maybe they'll get Josh Brolin to play Darkseid too.
Yeah, I mean at this point I'm just hoping for a good action movie out of it at least. I mean, and not even really. I don't expect the story to be great or anything, but I mean, if it looks action packed, at least I don't know. Yeah, I would really hope that's not all the action sequences and it's just boring and shitty. So we'll see.
Keep hoping.
But, all right, number 3. Got some new X-Men titles coming 2018. Looks like Marvel's slowly welcoming back the X-Men. Rogue and Gambit and Legion. So I don't know.
Is Rogue and Gambit one book?
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like Rogue and Gambit. They're cool. I guess. Dirk, you like Gambit as Cajun, right?
I do, but they don't ever get them right, so I'm really excited.
I think
It's like
the
the worst stereotype I can imagine of a Cajun dude, besides like Justin Wilson
Gambit.
cooking.
Yeah. But,
over stereotype Cajun and Dirk gets mad.
I mean, I don't think once he says, if he said like "Gade don" or something, maybe. But I don't even hear that. It's like he's speaking like Parisian French. No Cajun speaks Parisian French.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
But Legion, cool. I wonder what they're doing with Legion. Are they going to make it into more of a story so the show can go on past the, I mean, hopefully, or I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's a good book because the first Legion was just a short series and it's done. And
yeah,
I mean, I love the show. If something helps the show continue, and
they got to get a good writer. Thanks for that. They got to get somebody to pull it off.
You'd assume if they're pulling off the success of the show that it will be good in that weird,
in that vein
kind of way. You know what I mean?
Hope so.
I'm definitely excited to check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Get pot out of my face.
All right, number 2, Battlefront 2 beta. Jeff,
how'd that go?
You didn't get in on it, but
I didn't. I wanted to, but I was a little busy.
So,
3 of us though played a little bit last night.
First of all, the matchmaking's broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
It took us a while to be able to play it. Too.
Yeah, I mean,
Corey almost quit.
40 minutes, right?
Oh wow.
It's stupid.
Long time. Well, first off, we couldn't team up at all. We couldn't even get in a group. We had to do it through the PlayStation menus because that was broken. And I don't know how you do it if you're not on a PlayStation. It's some other workaround, I'm guessing.
I mean, DICE has been making Battlefront or Battlefield for friggin' 20 years.
Battlefront. Or
Yeah.
Battlefield.
Well, Battlefield's the same way.
Yeah.
When you're playing with people, you drop out of a match, all of a sudden you're in different matches with people, and it's just like it's shitty. And this is just as bad. And even once we started playing, you and Dirk were in a match, and I'm stuck in the fucking waiting room with Oliver.
Right.
And then it booted me out completely, and then we had to restart, and I had to be the host, and then it worked, and then Wojo got in, and he was on the opposite team.
Right.
And he was in a different game altogether. I mean,
how can COD and Destiny work seamlessly for years?
Yeah.
And they can't figure that shit out.
Well,
for real. And a terrible first impression. I mean, just before we even started playing, we had to deal with that shit. So.
Well, Battlefield 2, I mean, in the Battlefield 2, which was 20 years ago, they had a great way of just forming a squad, and that was it. It was real easy to.
They broke it since.
Yeah, I don't know why
it doesn't work now. But once we started playing, it seemed like the last one. It looked really awesome. And Naboo looked really awesome. But it, I enjoyed the space battles better. So did I.
It grew on me.
If I were to get I would play the space battles more.
Right.
Yeah, when I first started the space battle, I thought it was too crazy because I didn't know what the hell to do. I'm like, all over the place. But by the third or fourth time, I was like, I kind of dig this a little bit more.
Yeah, space battles are cool. Sure. Good.
Yeah,
the other stuff.
I'm 100% convinced that I will not put time into it. That I'm going to get this again for the kids. I'm going to play through the single player story. And and that'll be it. I might play online just enough to see all the different environments, and then that'll be the end of that.
Yeah, same.
Is it worth it though? I mean, overall, if you're going to go buy it just for the space and the single player story, is it worth spending that much money on?
Well, let's wait and see what the single-player story is. Is it?
And how much do you like Star Wars?
And how much do you like Star Wars? Yeah, right.
I mean, it has the name. I'll go buy it and be like,
Even without the single player, I would sit down and play the core game for 30 or 20 hours, something like that, just to see all the different environments. And it does.
More time
does
you
look
put in
beautiful.
Destiny.
Destiny 2.
Oh!
Destiny 2. That's for sure. I did put that much in Destiny 2, by the way. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about what I put in this. So the other thing just that we haven't discussed yet is that it seems like it's friggin' pay to win for sure.
Yeah.
Everything's based on you get drops out of those crates. And
you can buy crates.
Yeah, and then the cards that you use to up your player skills, you could buy those too. So, I mean, it's totally. I forget where I was reading it, but that shit would be the kiss of death for any game that didn't have the Star Wars logo attached to it. Some random game came out with a first-person shooter and had that strong of pay to win, like attributes to it. People would be talking shit on the internet and they'd kill it right away, So again, it's the prettiest Star Wars game ever made, just like the last one was. This is a step up.
Yeah.
And what I said about the last one was that I'm pissed off that the prettiest Star Wars game that I've ever seen in my life doesn't have a story to it. So this one has a story. If it's good, then I'll be fired up. You know what I mean? And if it's 2 hours and kind of nonsensical and it's just a multiplayer game again, then put it in the garbage.
Yeah, for sure.
That sucks.
All right.
I'm sorry for y'all.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see
what the story's like. That's exactly what I expected it to be honest. You know what I mean? So the question is the story cool or not? We'll see.
Yeah.
So,
number one.
Shitty Star Wars to number one. Last Jedi trailer.
I just want to say as we jump into this topic, we're going full spoilers. This is our last news topic of the week. At the end of this, we're going to go full spoilers on Blade Runner 2049. If you want to talk Blade Runner but don't but didn't watch this trailer because you don't want to be ruined on Star Wars, then check back. We put all the times in the descriptions of the show. You can fast forward over to Blade Runner. I just had to throw that in there.
Still shaking off the fucking goosebumps.
Yeah. The other pendulum swings to the other side there.
Yeah.
That's
Holy
great.
shit.
Holy shit's right.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Holy
I said,
shit.
whoa.
Oh.
Wait, I have a question. Did you guys see? They played a trailer this morning, right, on the Today Show or something?
Mm-hmm.
They
I don't.
played a teaser yesterday saying that this was going to come today.
Yeah, it's two different trailers. It looks like.
No, that was the other one. I stumbled across that one. It was just a teaser to say, "Hey, tomorrow, dumbasses, we're gonna do it."
Okay, because I watched something that the Today Show had. It looked like a pretty small, little throw together, but it wasn't this, obviously. I mean, this
You
is
guys-
great.
We've been talking for 40 seconds and nobody's mentioned the fact that Rey's going to the fucking dark side.
I don't know. I think that because I was watching the first trailer again, and the way that on the first trailer, you know how they sort of make it look like Luke is saying that it's time for the Jedi to end.
Yeah.
That's not Luke talking. I figured it out. It's Kylo. It's Kylo that says it's time for the Jedi, and then it cuts to Luke, and he just says to end. So it's almost like, was Luke saying your training needs to end, or I don't know.
Conspiracy theory.
Listening to it, you can pick up the audio cues a little bit different, but that's why I don't know if Rey's going to turn to the dark side, because I think that's more callback-ish of Empire Strikes Back.
I hope they don't.
If that's really the way that scene plays out, that is Empire's when Luke gets his hand cut off.
What if Kylo ends up being the good guy? What if
It's possible.
Han was helping him by letting him kill
I read
him
that theory.
so that you know what I mean? So that Snoke wouldn't like freak out on him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he ends up siding with Leia, and Rey's too powerful. She goes down the dark side. You know, they could throw that in there. So just a lot of kind of quotes that could be completely taken in and out of context. We always talk about how much we hate trailers for spoiling too much. I think this one, it definitely threw a lot of shit out there, but left us with more questions than
I thought it was great.
This is what the movie is. So started out, you hear what you assume is Snoke saying, "When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power, and beyond that, something truly special." And when he's saying the whole thing, it's showing Kylo, and then he goes, "Beyond that, something special," and it shoots to Rey firing a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Right? So, taking that at face value, if those are Snoke's words, then somehow he sees Rey through Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So whether their relation or whatever, you know what I mean? So take that for what it is. Then the next thing was Rey saying, "Something inside me has always been there, but now it's awake and I need help." So who's she talking to? Is she talking to Luke? Who is she talking
Gotta
to
be.
there? Then you got the Luke quote says, "I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now." You assume he's talking about Kylo.
Yeah.
And Kylo failing him because he wasn't afraid to try and train him, and he failed at that sort of deal. Kylo, and then we get the scene where Kylo's going after Leia, where it shows his computer lock into the bridge, and then it shows her and his face, and his fingers are on the trigger, but he doesn't show if he pulls them or not. Damn, that shit was intense.
Oh yeah, so fucking
intense moment. So then you get a shot of the Millennium Falcon flying through what looks like a cave that's nothing but red crystals.
Yeah.
Right? So are these like dark side Kyber
Could be.
planet? Is that what's going on? Is like every single poster that we've seen is nothing but red.
Red, yeah.
You know what I
Red,
mean?
yeah.
And when you see the AT-AT scene, you see those ships that drag on the sand, and it makes everything red. You know what I mean?
That
you
means
assume
blood,
that's,
usually.
Right, right. And you would assume that in the planet, that's like the dust left from those crystals. Like that's got to be the same planet that they're flying around in the caves with and whatnot. So, wow, interesting.
Could be.
Yeah, interesting. We get a quick shot of Finn in Phasma.
Dude,
Facing
yeah.
us,
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, of course.
He's mixing it up.
Asthma.
Well, I like how they did give away how the movie's going to open. They basically showed you that the movie's going to open after the crawl of Rey handing that lightsaber to Luke.
You think? I think it's going to be Empire Strikes Back. It's going to be AT-ATs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's probably gonna start showing Kylo. Okay, because it always starts in space. Every Star Wars movie always starts in space, pans down. That is
Right.
every Star Wars
Okay.
except for Rogue One. But you watch all of them; they always start with the Empire side first. Every one of them starts with the Empire side first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Interesting.
after that, then that's when you're gonna pick up with Luke and Rey, because it's gonna be that aerial shot that we saw in the trailer going over that island. And then
Right.
Yeah, what planet is Luke on?
He's on a planet with water.
Island.
Looks
planet.
like it's water.
It's Ireland.
Water.
It's Ireland.
Yeah. New Zealand.
So the two other things with the trailer is that towards the end you get again what you assume is Snoke. They show his face,
Yeah.
and you hear a voice in the background saying "Fulfill your destiny," and then it shows Rey all fucked up, screaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh, we saw little Final Fantasy foxes too.
yes, the little Final Fantasy. They are totally the Final Fantasy foxes. You're right on with that call. Yeah, and then the final thing is that that you get the Rey voice saying, "I need someone to show me my place in all this," and then Kylo's hand. Clearly, a lot of all these quotes and everything like that could be cut and put here and there.
I think they got it.
But clearly, those two are sitting talking to each other. Like I couldn't help but notice that this whole thing has been blue and red and everything about it. That scene is yellow, and Rey's yellow, and Kylo's yellow.
Third movie.
Yeah.
That's just, I just don't know what to think of it.
You broke that shit down like this is a Zapruder film.
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
That's awesome.
So, can't wait.
No, that's interesting about the colors, though. I wonder if they're going to feature, if red's this time, blue. Was blue the feature color in the last one? I don't remember.
They really didn't have
like
a
sand.
Not like this. Not like this promotion has been so far. Everything's red, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The yellow's
yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. We'll see. But yeah, it looks sweet. Like I say, I gotta say, as a trailer, it's not one of those where I watched it and I'm just like, well, shit, they showed me too much. Like, to me, like, they
No,
got
it's
me
perfect.
hyped. They left us a lot of questions. Maybe they showed me too much, but I don't care. It wasn't just like they showed me some jokes and the scenes from the end. You know what I mean? Like, I felt cool with it.
Do y'all have
sure.
big plans for the movie? Like, y'all have something set for the first viewing?
dude.
I don't really.
Go watch it.
I just go watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go
Okay.
watch it. That's
You got to
all.
watch it twice, so.
Yeah, for sure. Twice in the
Yeah.
first weekend. I'm an idiot, so I'll definitely do that. I'd probably go by myself once at the midnight viewing, whenever
Yeah.
it first drops, and then I'll bring the kids on the weekend following.
Awesome.
That's my plan. All right.
Sweet.
All right.
Sweet.
That's the news
The week.
of the week.
News.
All right, so we got to the part in the show where we want to support the people that support us. So subscriptions going up, subscribers going up. Really appreciate it from
Yeah.
everybody. We're like 758, I think, at the last count that I saw.
Yeah.
Some of these people that have given us subscriptions also have YouTube channels. We scroll through them throughout the week, find the ones that are cool, add them to this section of the show. We also put links to these guys' channels in the description. So if you like what we do, please go to these guys' channels, click the subscribe button, hook up the people. They're hooking us up. We all get together. It's called the Force. It goes between everybody. It binds us all together.
And it has metachlorians.
take part in it. No, it does not have metachlorians. We're striking that from the record. So, I just wanted to start with this week. I came across a channel, Nomad Gaming Network.
Sweet. I got Ghost Kid with 2 D's on the end and Coaching for Geeks.
Yeah, I got Farts and Crap Show. Dangerous Dan.
I got Chronoside and Harris_Gaming.
All right, and every week we pick a best name out of the group. I think this one's a slam
Is
dunk.
there a contest here?
Yeah. So, not to take anything from everybody else, but this is definitely the Farts and Crap Show. Got to be the winner of Name of the Week.
Brilliance.
At least I call himself the Sharts.
Yep. Well, as always, find us on YouTube at youtube.com/GCandC. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or directly at gcandc.podiant.co. Visit our website at gamescomicsandculture.wordpress.com and email us at gamescomicsandculture@gmail.com.
Sweet. Also, you can find us on this new thing called Twitter at GCandC and individually at
AND. I'm at Darth Nader, DARTH_N8R.
At CJ Closter, KLOSTER.
Jeff.
Yoder. Hold on. at Sonar God at SONARG0D.
And I'm at Mosquatch, MOSSQUATCH. You can also find us on Instagram at Games Comics A&D Culture, and join our Facebook group by searching for Games Comics and Culture. No commas.
No commas. Sorry, I brain farted because I was buying Star Wars tickets at the same time right as it came up.
That's brilliant.
But I got tickets for Thursday, December 14th at
Nice.
7:15.
That's sweet.
What's up?
Well, where are we at on Discord?
Oh shit! Yeah, forgot. And by the way, we're on Discord at GCandC. Don't forget to please support us at patreon.com/GCandC.
$1 a month.
$1 a month.
Make the show
Do
better.
it.
$1.
Maybe $1.50.
Make you holla.
Yeah, they're dark stuff.
And then, as always, thanks to Fred Thomas for our opening music and Xee Reiter for our logo.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your
Appreciate it.
Hook up
Had
the
a good
contest.
time.
It doesn't matter if you've been subscribed to us for all these years. We got 700 some subscribers. Get in this contest. Get yourself free PlayStation Store credit.
Might as well.
Yeah.
So we're going full spoilers. Corey, Dirk, you guys checking out?
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah, I
Full
haven't
spoilers
watched
on
it
Blade
yet.
Out of
Runner.
here.
I gotta go.
Everybody, if you're checking out from the Blade Runner spoilers, have a great week.
Yeah.
Later.
You too.
Ciao.
Haters.
Peace.
All right, so full spoilers. This week's big movie of the week, Blade Runner 2049. Again, full spoilers conversation. Going full spoilers in 3, 2, 1. What do you think, Jeff?
I actually liked it. I really liked this movie. I mean, besides being visually, I feel like visually now that's easy. That's just an easy button that they can do and make it, you know. But they did keep the essence. I noticed in a lot of it, like they were still using that style of gun that
Sure.
Harrison Ford used in the first one. They did change up the retinal scanner.
Right.
And I think they were able to explain more what the retinal scanner was actually looking for when they had them look up and to the left, look at the
Right.
serial number under there. So visually, I thought it was good.
Kind of just like I felt like enough advancements to be 30 years in the future, right?
It did. It was it was really well done. I think. I think it was interesting that duality where it was they advanced it 30 years because it's been 30 years. So 2017 was when the first one was done.
Yep.
And now this one, and then I
2019.
like. Was it 2019? I
Yep.
thought it was 2017.
No, it says 2019.
Oh,
That's why
does
it's
it?
2049 is 30-year difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But so it was good that it showed that technology had progressed, but not astronomically like they tried to do in the first one.
Sure. Agreed. I thought, like, for me, the best thing about this movie, this is one of those rare movies that was basically the $150 million art film.
Yeah.
Right? Like, usually if you're going to see an art film, its budget is about $5 million.
Yes.
And so, this had this great big budget, and I feel like, they used it the right way. Like, to me, is all about atmosphere. And kind of like the original Blade Runner, to be honest, the story, to my mind, is not. I don't want to sound negative about it, but it was pretty kind of. It just seemed like it was. The big twist was that he wasn't Harrison's kid, right? So pretty much right off the bat, within the first half an hour of the movie, you realize that this replicant was pregnant, and then you find out right away that she's Rachel from the first movie. And so, you assume that's Harrison Ford's kid.
Yep.
They kind of, I don't want to say that it was a disservice to it, but interesting that they didn't, again, specify whether Harrison's human or replicant, because it's completely different to my mind. If he's a replicant and replicants can reproduce, then that's a bigger story than the human replicant reproducing, sort of thing. I don't know. They're both big stories, but so it seemed like the basis of it was detective story about find out who the baby is, and then wipe this all into the table, because if replicants figure out that they can do this, that they will, decide to become sentient, which they basically already are. So the interesting parts of this movie to me is that the overarching narrative is that it doesn't really matter who's human and who's not. Like, even down to his dog. You know what I mean? Like,
because they ask, is he real or not?
Yeah, right. And the answer is, I don't know, ask him. And and so that's kind of to me, the funny thing is, like, it just seems like everybody's just living their lives and trying to do this stuff. You know what I mean? And then the whole point of it is that at that far advanced into artificial intelligence, that the lines become super blurred.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, to me, like, the baseline A to Z story of, like, Harrison Ford had a kid, find the kid, was pretty, I don't know, almost weak in my mind a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. I almost expected this. I don't know what I expected, but I expected the story to be a little more in depth than that.
I felt like they took their time to explain a lot of what was going on in the movie more than the first one ever did.
Yeah.
The first one, if you don't watch the director's cut, it bounces around so much that you're lost. And I come to think that it's still hard to say if Harrison was a replicant, but it was more focused on Rachel, that she was so advanced and so unique, because the guy Tyrell, he kept touting how special she was.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why he put her with him, because he knew he could protect her.
Sure.
So I think that was it, and I think that was the whole baseline, and then how they hit it. But then I thought there were some political undertones.
Okay.
They sort of masked it with this. Oh, someone had a kid, go find the child. But there was political undertones about what's going on right now in the country, is what I saw. Because the way the replicants are saying, it will be, we're in force. We can make a name for ourselves and say, hey, we're somebody now.
Okay.
I did catch that.
Right. Right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the replicants, that one scene where basically he was told that he wasn't the savior child.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, the replicants kind of show their hand to him, saying that we have this army,
Yeah.
and then they kind of disappeared. Like, is that the sequel at this point, or you know what I mean?
I don't know if they could. I hope they don't.
Me too.
I hope they don't, because I thought it ended well. I honestly, I liked the ending. A lot of people last night didn't like the ending. I was talking a little bit. I'd overhear conversations with some of the developers from CCP for EVE Online, and it was interesting what they were picking up on the movie. And then the group I was with, one's like, "Oh, that movie was kind of weak at the end." And I was like, "No, it actually wasn't. I think it was the way the first one ended."
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, at the start of the film, Ryan Gosling was rubbing me the wrong way. That opening scene, he says, what does he say? He says, like, I don't like to eat until the hard part of the day is done. Like, it was just such a cheesy action flick kind of comment that didn't happen in the first movie. Like, Harrison wasn't acting like an action hero. You know what I mean? He was really kind of, what do you call it? He didn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was just, get me away from this until they forced his hand. And so to see Ryan Gosling kind of act like that kind of turned me off. I would also say that the first time that they showed Jared Leto, kind of the nonsense that he babbled for 5 minutes, you could have cut that from the movie as far as I was concerned. It meant nothing. And then but as the movie went on, like, I did find that my wife said it, and she was right. By the end of the movie, when Gosling had basically sacrificed himself so that Harrison could see his kid, I was touched by it. The people talk, and even I think that movie was too long, but the journey from the start to where his character ended, I did have empathy for the character by the end of the film. So they did something right in that way.
I guess I was conscious that it was a long movie. Mostly my bladder was telling me that it was a long movie, but at the same, I felt that the pace was decent, though. It wasn't too long in the tooth, and it wasn't too short, because I was watching, like, the first 45 minutes. I was analyzing, like, okay, so what could I have cut out of the scene that wouldn't progress the story? And there was stuff I couldn't find it,
Sure.
all the symbology they're trying to put in there. But it goes back to the question is, was Harrison Ford's character a replicant? Was it really a replicant, or was he human? Because it seemed like for Gosling, he was a replicant, but it was more that he was a Blade Runner and the rest of the cops looked down on him.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
I thought that was interesting, but you didn't know if it was because he was a replicant or because he was a Blade Runner.
Sure.
Because it sort of made it sound, going into the movie, that Blade Runners were a dying art, and it was more like the dregs of the law enforcement were just, that's what you had to do if you couldn't be a real cop.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like, well, I mean, I guess I took it as racism against
replicants.
Everybody's calling them skin job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I felt like that there was more around that.
Yeah. And that, I think that goes back to where I was talking. You're right, because that goes with the political undertones and everything that's going on right now with racism and discrimination within the country.
Sure.
Is that, that he's looked down because he's different from the majority.
Yep.
The dominant norm of society. So, and the whole premise is that all the rich people that could get off world, they're gone. So this is just like basically the poverty and the scrubs of society are all
blue collar.
Yeah.
Everybody who's blue collars left. It's interesting. I forget the name of the actor, but the guy who plays who's the Destroyer in the Guardians of the Galaxy in that first scene.
Kurt Russell?
No. Drax the Destroyer. He's that first replicant that Ryan Gosling's going to get.
Oh yeah.
Him, like, to be the farmer who's farming grubs.
Yeah.
Basically, and he doesn't. He says it's protein, is what he says. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's the kind of people that are left on the planet there.
In a radiation environment.
Yep. But I think all in all, I put it like good, not great. I put it like, to me, a 6, like
Oh,
out of
really?
10. I feel like what was great about it was the settings and the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when the original Blade Runner came out, those things were mind blowing. That there was nothing else like it at the time, and now we've had 30 years worth of movies that have kind of played on that, so it doesn't have quite the same impact to me that it did. And again, the story good, but not. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a head trip than it was. It seemed like it was a little kind of on the plate, here's the story sort
Mm-hmm.
of thing, didn't leave a ton of room to kind of, I don't know, whatever, philosophize
To
about it for
philosophy.
years
You're
after.
right. I felt the same way. I felt like it was more, they sort of dumbed it down so that a lot of people could get it.
Right.
Because I still watch Blade Runner today, and sometimes I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, right.
Because you got to be in the right mindset to watch the first one.
Yeah.
And if you watch the director's cut, it's different because the director's cut puts the footage that the producers cut out to make it a theater release, and a lot of the story got cut.
Funny. I guess I
but-
gotta watch that now. I watched the regular version like 2 weeks ago. I guess I gotta watch the director's cut now.
So something I noticed that wasn't in this one though is in the original one, a way to tell the audience, to break the fourth wall of the audience and let them know on a secret, is the replicants, their eyes would glow, right, in their pupils. I didn't notice that at all in this one.
Right.
And we were talking about how they did that shot with, there's a light above Sean Young and then a reflector that would reflect on her eyes, and a light would turn on and then turn off, and that's how they capture that glow in her eyes.
Sure.
But I didn't notice that in this one.
Yeah,
I thought it was
right.
interesting. I thought it was interesting they brought and cool that they brought back a lot of the original actors to play their roles.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised that was Sean Young. I assume it was CGI. She didn't really do much.
Sure.
But it was really well done CGI.
Yep.
So
yeah. Agreed. I stood there looking at her, and I thought, like, to me, like, I'm weighing her against like Tarkin and Leia, and like she looked better than them.
She did.
She looked a little kind of flat to me, but didn't have that kind of weird like computer graphics look to her. That
like caterpillars crawling up.
Correct. Also, so like, what did you think about Harrison Ford? Like, I feel like, to be honest, like for me, he's kind of at that time when he was doing the Deckard and Han Solo and Indiana Jones, like all those roles are truly iconic roles, but kind of the same kind of acting style, you know. And now I do feel like he was similar to A Force Awakens, but I felt like he's better in this movie than he was in A Force Awakens.
I think because you're seeing 30 years of acting experience, really. So he did American Graffiti, and then he did Star Wars, and then it just skyrocketed. So his acting got better, so he's able to separate the characters. I wonder if that's why he didn't like Han.
Sure.
Because he felt like that was more of like a school play for him, and later on he did Deckard again. So it was a little rough around the edges, and I did see a little Force Awakens in there. I didn't see a lot of the Harrison Ford humor that he likes to throw into his acting that much.
Is the one about I like this song.
Yeah, that was good. That was weird for me because I'm sitting on the strip in Las Vegas,
right?
And they go to Las Vegas when he goes to find Deckard. And I don't know what it is with a lot of movies I watch. When I go see them, I end up seeing them in a place that's a scene in that movie.
That's funny. That was probably one of the greatest scenes too. The fight with the Elvis concert going on. Was great. That was really cool.
And it was, at first I was trying to figure out why they were doing it, and then I figured it was they were trying to show how can I put it into words? Just because it'd come on really good. Just it was a way to give a distraction for them because they were equally matched. It was a way to give one the advantage over the other.
Sure.
He had Harrison Ford sneaking up on him, and then it was to get you in sort of a suspenseful combat kind of feel watching it.
Yeah.
because it's all disjointed and you don't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Very disorienting when it would come in loud for a second and then work into normal him kind of singing. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. What you put score on it out of 10?
I would say I would give it an 8. I really would.
Nice.
I would give it an 8. I
All
mean, I think that I give it an 8 because I think they made the movie easier to understand for Corey.
Sure.
You know, that didn't grow up with the first one. He just watched it. I think that it makes it easier for you to understand what's going on in the movie than the first one.
Sure. Gotcha.
So I'd say an 8.
All right, cool. All right, thanks everybody for watching. That's
thank
been,
you.
Comically Gaming, episode 73.
Man.
Next week, our spoiler topic goes back to Marvel Legacy Comic Book Club.
Fun.
Marvel Legacy #1. So read up before next episode.